Ever find yourself daydreaming about being in a busy kitchen? Like, that sizzle, that hot pan, all the chopping, just everyone working together?
Yeah, it's like a dance, right?
Yeah, it's like a well-oiled machine, and today's deep dive is all about how to actually, get in on that action.
Hmm.
So we're talking about how to become a kitchen assistant, and trust me, it's not just dicing onions.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
It's a lot more than meets the eye, and honestly, it's a great starting point for anyone who really wants to build a career in the culinary arts.
So we've got some awesome insights from RoleCatcher today, which
Wow.
if you haven't heard of them, think of them as like, I don't know, your secret weapon for anything career related.
Hmm.
Job searching, interview help. They even have AI stuff for your resume.
They do. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, wild. But okay, let's get back to the actual job, right? What does a kitchen assistant actually do all day?
Okay, well, picture this. Friday night, dinner rush, orders are coming in like crazy, and as the kitchen assistant, you are the one, making sure everything runs without a hitch. So yeah, you're prepping, but you're also like the hygiene hero. You're making sure everything's super clean, up to code.
Okay, so not for someone who can't handle the heat, right?
No, definitely not. Long hours, lots of pressure. It's a very specific kind of environment.
But also probably really rewarding, I'd imagine.
Oh, incredibly. You're part of a team and you're learning constantly, and at the end of the day, you're making something delicious.
And free food. Can't forget the free food.
Always a perk, yeah.
Huge perk, actually. But speaking of perks, let's talk about career trajectory. RoleCatcher actually maps out how you can basically level up, from newbie to, well, maybe not head chef right away, but you can climb that ladder.
That's what's so cool about this. It's not a dead end. If you've got the right attitude and you're really dedicated, a kitchen assistant can move up. You can become a line cook, then a sous chef. Heck, even open your own place someday.
So demanding, but full of potential, I like it. But let's get real for a second. How do you actually land one of these jobs? Because it seems like RoleCatcher might have some insider info on the whole interview process.
For sure. And it all starts with preparation. They've got this database, right? It's got tons of interview questions, even some really tough ones that are specifically for aspiring kitchen assistants.
Oh, so they're not messing around.
No, they mean business.
Mhm.
It's like having a secret weapon, honestly.
Imagine you're in the interview, right? And they hit you with the classic, describe a time you had to handle a stressful situation. I would completely blank.
Oh, I've been there. It's brutal.
But RoleCatcher, they've got your back. It seems like they've got a strategy for everything.
That's the thing. They're not messing around. They know these interviews, they can be tough, so they break it all down for you.
Okay.
Especially those, behavioral questions, the ones that really trip you up.
Oh, totally. It's one thing to be a good cook, but if you can't handle the heat in the interview,
Exactly. You got to show them you can think on your feet, stay cool under pressure, work
yeah.
well with others.
All those things that actually matter in a busy kitchen.
Exactly. The interview is like a taste of what's to come.
Ooh, I like that little taste test. But speaking of taste tests, RoleCatcher seems like it could be a game changer for the actual job hunt too, right?
Totally.
Because let's be honest, scrolling through those job boards is the worst.
Absolute worst.
Yeah.
It's so soul-crushing. But RoleCatcher, it's like they've organized it all. Think of it as like your job search headquarters.
Yeah, I'm with you.
They pull listings, they help you keep everything organized, and they even analyze your resume to see which version fits best for which job.
Hold on. Back up for a sec. They analyze your resume. How does that even work?
Okay, so remember we talked about AI earlier?
Right,
A
yeah.
lot of companies now, they use AI to screen resumes before a human even looks at them.
Oh, wow.
It's like a robot gatekeeper deciding your fate.
That's both cool and terrifying. So how do you, beat the bots? What's the strategy there?
It's not about tricking them, it's more about speaking their language.
Yeah.
Right? So RoleCatcher gives you all these tips on how to make your resume stand out to the AI. Using the right keywords, making sure it's formatted in a way that the robots understand, that kind of thing.
Okay, so it's less about being a culinary genius and more about being, tech savvy.
No, not at all. Your skills are still what matter most, obviously. This is just about getting your resume past the robots so that a human can actually see it and be impressed by your love for food and your experience.
Right. Because at the end of the day, whether it's a robot or a hiring manager, they both want the same thing. Someone who can actually do the job well.
100%.
And speaking of the future of the job, this is kind of blowing my mind a little bit, all this AI stuff. What about how technology is changing the actual work in professional kitchens? because RoleCatcher had some pretty interesting stuff about that.
Yeah, it's definitely changing, that's for sure.
Like, what are we talking? Are robots going to be taking our kitchen assistant jobs?
I mean, not quite robots. Not yet, at least. But definitely way more technology. Like, we're talking those high-tech dishwashers, those fancy inventory systems. Even some places have AI that helps with ordering and portion control.
Whoa, okay.
Wild, right?
Yeah. So many gadgets, it's like intimidating. For someone just starting out as a kitchen assistant, I mean, how do you keep up with all that?
It all comes down to being adaptable, I think, and willing to
Yeah.
learn new things. Like, yeah, the core skills, those never change. Chopping, prepping, cleaning, all that. But the tools, those are constantly evolving.
So you've got to be ready to like roll with the punches a little bit.
For sure. The only constant is change, right?
Mhm.
Especially in the food world.
So true. What was trendy last year is old news today.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher actually talks about how consumer trends, they're a big part of this too.
Yeah.
Like, people are more into healthy food now, sustainability, local ingredients, all of that. And kitchens, they need to adapt to that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's not just about like being amazing with a knife. You've got to be aware of these bigger trends too.
Absolutely. Imagine being the only one in the kitchen who doesn't know where their tomatoes came from, you know?
Right. Yeah, you don't want to be that person. So how does like a budding kitchen assistant, how do they keep up with all of this?
Well, that's where the whole lifelong learning thing comes in. RoleCatcher, they're big on that. Taking classes, going to workshops, just always being curious about food.
They even have like a whole section on their site for professional development, right? Specifically for culinary folks.
Yeah, they've got it all. Online courses, industry events, even articles about the latest food trends. It's all
Yeah.
right there.
So it's like having this like personalized roadmap for your whole culinary journey.
Exactly.
So you're saying it's not enough to just be like, a master of the knife. You've got to be a lifelong learner too.
100%. Think of it like building flavor, right? You start with that base, but then you add layers, techniques, new ingredients, new knowledge, and that's how you create something amazing.
Man, now I'm hungry. Maybe for some career advancement with a side of delicious food.
Well, you know what they say, if you want something done right.
You got to do it yourself.
Exactly. Maybe it's time to dust off that apron and get in the kitchen.
I'm always down for a good culinary adventure. But for now, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of kitchen assistants. So hopefully, you listening out there, you've gotten a little taste of what it takes to, really make it in that world.
It's a wild ride, for sure. But whether you're, just starting out or you've been at it for a while, there's always something new to discover, right?
Oh, totally.
So embrace those challenges, never stop learning, and hey, you might just find your calling.
Beautifully said. And to everyone out there, listening, dreaming of a culinary career, definitely check out RoleCatcher. They are an amazing resource for like anyone navigating the job market these days.
For sure. It's not just for chefs.
No, all kinds of careers. But that's it for us today.
So until next time.
We'll see you on the flip side.